What's up, everybody? Today I'm here to talk about Game of Thrones Season 8 and Episode 1. We are finally here, and hopefully by now you did have a chance to check it out. If you haven't, well, you shouldn't be here because I will be discussing a lot of spoilers. Unless you don't mind, by all means, stick around. So let's talk from the very beginning. We have Daenerys arriving in Winterfell in a very gorgeous scenes, and throughout the entire episode, I thought that it really mirrored everything that happened in Episode 1. Her arrival, it really mirrors Robb Baratheon arriving in Winterfell. Even the way that he's introduced, so many things happened. And this episode was very slow paced. I was expecting to have a little more action and it didn't, but I was also not that surprised because I even believe that episode 2 is also going to be a little slow paced because there's a lot of character meeting, a lot of characters that haven't seen each other for so many years, a lot of very important conversations and revelations that had to happen. And this is definitely, that's why I knew it wasn't going to be very heavy in action. When Daenerys arrives and we have this little boy running around and trying to see the army, and then he goes all the way up, and that really reminds you of Bran when he was a little boy. Also when Jon Snow arrives, he goes straight to Bran, and I thought that was a very kind of emotional meeting over there. And Bran wasn't that weird, which I thought, oh, thank goodness. Then Daenerys goes directly to Sansa, introduce herself, and she's actually quite nice, but Sansa gives her the cold shoulder. I wasn't expecting her to be that cold. I mean, we know that the Northerners don't really trust people, but come on, if she wasn't there, I mean, you guys would not have stand a chance. So, and Daenerys did not need it to be there. I mean, she went there because she knows that the threat is real. And I loved how Bran kind of just interrupted and said, there is no time for this. I was like, finally. Because seriously, while these people are bickering at each other, the army of the dead is literally marching towards them. So I was like, thank God that Bran said that. There is no time for that. The Night King has your dragon, Daenerys, and he's on the way over here. And Daenerys was pretty much like, wow, kind of shocked. But to me, it was a little bit weird. That was no, what? How do you know that? But anyways, none of that was addressed. It doesn't really seem that Jon Snow's really understand what Bran is right now. There was no conversation so perhaps we'll see something unfold there in episode 2. We also see Cersei, and she's receiving the Golden Company, and then she also hears that the wall has indeed fallen, and her response was like, yes, good. I mean, she is crazy in my opinion. I mean, she seems to be very sure that the dead will fall and she's going to win because now they're going to lose a bunch of people. And I was just like, she's crazy. And obviously she ends up sleeping with Theon's uncle. I kind of hate that guy, but we can clearly see that she hates him, and I was like, whatever. And but it was very funny that she was so upset about the elephants because the Golden Company did not bring the elephants, and I believe that has a lot to do with CGI, budget. But anyways, then Cersei sends her hand to go talk to Bronn. Is it Bronn? And ask him to kill Jaime and Tyrion if they survive the war. And I was like, oh my goodness. And that's kind of, I don't really think that he's going to do it because it's just will be very weird. I think that his arc will be that he might, I don't know, he might just save Jaime's life and Tyrion's again. I don't know. Who knows? It is Game of Thrones, but anyways. Then we have that whole meeting where Daenerys is sitting there, Sansa and Jon, and well, again, another thing that I didn't really understand is all these Northerner people are like, Jon Snow, we name you King of the North, the little bear girl, we name you King of the North. And these people don't seem to be taking the threat serious. I mean, none of them have seen the dead, they haven't fought the dead, and they still have not prioritized the war. I mean, why else would you be bickering about who has the crown? I mean, like, literally, like Jon said, it doesn't matter. They don't see the big big picture, Sansa is still not being very, welcoming towards Daenerys, just asking, what does dragon eat anyways? And no, I wasn't expecting to fit this many army. But Daenerys' answer was pretty funny. She just says they could eat whatever they want. And I still, again, they were really being so hostile towards her, and I totally understand that. But at the same time, they are not understanding that the reason that they are there is the only way that they can even have a chance to survive. They're not taking Jon Snow serious. I literally cannot wait to see everyone's faces when the army of the dead is right there on their door. Then perhaps they will stop this bickering, because it really doesn't matter who sits in the Iron Throne right now if they don't defeat the dead. Then we also have another very emotional and very cool scene, that is Jon meeting Arya after a very long time, and they talk about Needle, and he shows him his sword as well, and they have that conversation that is very, it's not very deep, but at the same time it really, to me, really felt like they understand each other. And he goes, oh, you're on the Sansa side this time, it's so weird. And then she pretty much just tells him, well, we're family, we need to stick together. That it's kind of a callback to, the lone wolf dies but the pack survives. So that was something that I thought it was very cool. It was also very emotional. You could totally see how much she misses him and how much he missed her too. And then we have Tyrion meeting Sansa, and they do have a very interesting conversation. Last time that they met was in Joffrey's wedding. One of the things that they are talking about is the fact that Tyrion believes that Cersei will be sending her army, and Sansa says something really cool. She looks at Tyrion and just says, I used to believe you're the cleverest man alive. But seriously, if you believe that your sister is going to do this, you are very naive. And Sansa is really surprising me as far as her wits. I think she really learned a lot from Cersei. And then we had one of my favorite moments in the show. That was Jon Snow riding a dragon. That was so sweet. I love the scene. Great visual effects. I think that the dragon looks so crisp. The visual effects there were amazing. Perhaps that's why we didn't see Ghost. I was expecting to see Ghost, but again, the wolf is very, very expensive to animate. It's even more expensive than the dragon, but I was a little bit disappointed that I didn't see Ghost. But anyways, that scene was amazing. It really made me feel like, wow, I wish I could ride a dragon as well. There's also a little bit of more bonding between Daenerys and Jon, and at this point, none of them know the truth yet, and I was just, I don't know, the show really ruined the ship for me once I found out that they're related, because every time I seen them together, I was like, that's your aunt. So Daenerys is riding Drogo, and Jon Snow is riding Rhaego, which is the dragon that is named after his father. And at first, he just is scared. He's like, where do I hold on? And then the dragon just takes off, and it was just so cool, so nicely shot. Jon Snow really shows that he's a very quick learner, even though he's struggling a little bit and the dragon's doing all this diving. I was like, it's the coolest thing I've ever seen on a TV show. It was amazing. I loved it. But then very quickly he just was like, phew, kind of really controlling the dragon, and it really shows that he's a fast learner. And it's also, in my mind, I was like, Daenerys, how could you not even have a little hint that there's something Targaryen about Jon Snow? Technically only Targaryens are supposed to ride dragons, but the show never really said that only Targaryens, but that's what it is implied. So I thought that was very interesting. Then Jon Snow takes her to the place where he used to hunt when he was younger, and that is pretty much a callback to the cave scene when he was in love with, Wildling girl. And then they have that lovely scene where, she seems to be even more in love to him. They're kissing, and Drogo is pretty much staring, and I thought it was really very funny, because obviously Drogo is like, that's my mother, get away from her, or I don't know. It was just a really very funny scene. I loved it. Then later we have Theon saving his sister. It really shows that he is recovering that bravery that he had lost. But I don't have a lot of criticism there, apart from the fact that it seemed very easy. A ship like that, I don't know, I just thought it was very easy. There's not a lot of action. It's fine, it's okay. I know that they have to kind of rush things now, and Theon is now on the way to go fight in Winterfell as well. Also, Arya meeting the Hound. That was super cool. I was expecting more of a conversation, but it really went the way that they've always interacted with each other, and it was super cold. But the Hound, you could totally see that he was happy to see that she's doing so well. And then after that, she goes to talk to Gendry, and it's also been a while that they haven't met each other, and it really is implied that some romance is going to be taking place at, and she asks him to create a weapon, which seems like a very cool weapon that detaches, and I cannot wait to see her using that. Later, we also find out that Daenerys goes to talk to Sam because she wants to thank him because he saved the life of Ser Jorah. But then later, Sam finds out that Daenerys actually murdered his evil dad and his brother, and he doesn't seem to take that very well. Even though his dad is terrible, was terrible to him, well, it's still family. And we also know that Sam has a big heart, and I thought that the acting, was exceptional. I was very moved at that point, and I was like, oh my god, I couldn't believe that. And Daenerys was very cold, but at the same time, what she told him the truth, and what could she do? She did give him a chance. But anyways, it's still kind of rough to find out that two members of your family were murdered like that. And then obviously Sam gets out of there, see Bronze outside. He's still sitting out there. I was just thinking, is he going to stay there all night? And then Bran just tells him, you have to go talk to Jon now. He needs to know the truth. And he's like, no, you're his brother, you go talk to him. And he goes, no, he trusts you more than anyone. And then that's what Sam does. And then we have one of the most important scenes, because this time Jon Snow actually finds out the truth about his mother and his father, truth about his lineage. He's actually the true heir to the Iron Throne. I couldn't believe the way that the scene played out. I really enjoyed it. I thought that the acting was amazing. His face, he couldn't believe it. He was like, you're telling me that my dad was the most honorable man, lied my entire life? Seriously, that was truly a bomb, a bomb right there. And there's a lot to take in. At first, his reaction is just, that's treason, but Sam tells, no, that's the truth. And he just brings something to Jon Snow, pretty much tells him, well, you gave up your crown for the good of the people. Would you do the same? And I was like, wow, that is, I don't know, but it really seems like this revelation will create some sort of division between him and Daenerys. I don't know how she's going to react when she finds out, but at the same time, I don't really think that he wants the throne, so I think he might even say, you can have it. But now I really wonder if they're going to continue the relationship after he finds out that they're related. Ew. Anyways, the other thing I forgot to mention is that the dragons are now kind of not eating, and Daenerys implies that they don't really like the North. I think that they're gonna make the dragons weaker in comparison to Viserys, because Viserys is dead. He's in his environment, and the dragons, they don't like the cold. They are not eating very well, so that's not a good sign. Perhaps they're not gonna be as strong as we think, and I just hope they don't die. I really don't want to see the dragons die. That would be extremely sad. But anyways, after that scene with the revelation, then we see Tormund. I think that he's really cool. It's so nice to see that he survived. It's him and all the other guys. And then we have a very funny scene where the Lord Commander now, right, meets Tormund, and they're just looking at each other. He's like, watch out, he has blue eyes. And then he goes, I've always had blue eyes, and that made me laugh. And then we have a very horror scene that really also, again, mirrors the first episode, where we also see a child, kind of a dead child. But this time we have this spiral signal, and it's definitely the Night King symbol. Still don't know exactly what that means, but oh my god, that scene was so brilliantly shot. We have Tormund right over here, and then the little boy is right there, and then slowly he opens his eye, and I was like, please don't kill him. So it was really cool. So anyways, after that, then we have Jaime arriving in Winterfell, and I cannot believe that Bran was still out there waiting for him. I was like, has he been waiting there all night? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, he implies all the time he's no longer human, but I don't know. I still don't fully get it. I need more explanation to understand. But it was funny how he said, I'm waiting for a friend, but the friend is actually Jaime, and they have a lot of history there. And I cannot wait to see how that is going to unfold on episode 2. But anyways, guys, overall, I give this episode a 7 out of a 10. I think a lot of very important things happened there, but I wish that it didn't seem so rushed, and I wish that it was a little bit longer. I was really expecting it to be at least over an hour, and it was just 48 minutes. But I am super excited for episode 2. I do believe that episode 2 is still going to be kind of slow paced, and maybe towards the end we are going to see the beginning of the war, or maybe not. But drop your comments below. Let me know, what did you think about this episode? Did you think it was boring? Did you think it was great? Did you love everything about it? Did you hate everything about it? I would love to hear your opinion. And if you enjoyed my review, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time. Bye!